Hello there. So today's practice is all about shifting our perspective. So this can be really handy because even when things are going really well, we often, or especially if things are going really well, we can spend so much of our lives on autopilot. So we just, brush our teeth, have breakfast, take the commute to work or get the kids to school, the same thing day in and day out. And often we're just not even noticing things. We're not even paying attention. It's not like when you're on a holiday and you notice everything. It's all you just go through day after day without, much to remember. So it can be really good to just change things up and have a bit of a perspective shift to pull you out of that autopilot and help promote some more mindfulness. Also, if you are in a bit of a rut, if you're struggling a little bit, sometimes you don't need to do anything drastic. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a perspective shift. So that's what today is all about. We're going to do some inversions, which means where our head is below our legs. Don't worry, there's lots of levels and nothing too crazy. But we're just going to kind of notice when we're doing movements that we don't normally do, especially as adults, what that feels like in our minds and in our bodies. So with that being said, I recommend having a pillow or a cushion or a blanket available, just in case you would like to use it throughout today's practice, and I'll let you know at times where you might find that handy. If you don't have anything available, that's okay as well. As always, have a water bottle nearby so you can stay hydrated and have some drinks at any time. And remember to take your options. So do what's most comfortable for you. Balance that effort and ease. With all that being said, grab that water and I'll see you back here on the mat. Okay, so we're going to begin today at the top of our mats, feet hip width distance apart, pressing down into the mat to draw up tall, lifting everything in the front body. So lifting your kneecaps up by tensing your quads, drawing up, lifting your shoulders up to your ears, and then drawing everything back in the back body. So drawing your shoulders down and together, drawing all the energy down, up through the front and down through the back. Looking straight ahead in mountain pose. Bring your hands together at your heart in prayer. Close down your eyes if that's comfortable to you. If not, just soften your gaze down in front of you. Perhaps shift from side to side a bit here, forwards and back. Notice how different this feels when your eyes are closed. We're already changing our perspective. When we take out the sense of sight, it can be a lot harder to have that balance. We're relying on our vestibular system, on our body, sending messages up to help us balance. And then come into stillness in the center of your feet. And take a moment to smile and to be so grateful to yourself for coming here today. I truly think that for the most part, the most challenging part of yoga, any kind of wellness, self-care, is actually committing, is actually turning up and getting ready to do the work. It's not easy in today's hustle culture and go, and there's almost always more to be done. So be thankful to yourself for taking this step, giving yourself some time to slow down, to check in, to be curious, to live in the moment. Beautiful. Now lower your hands down and gently flutter those eyelids back open again. Try and keep that smile happening throughout today's practice. And let's get started. So bend your knees and swoop your hands up and overhead, bringing a slight back bend if that's comfortable for you. Hands to prayer and then lowering down, folding from the hips into forward fold. Slide your hands up to your shins or your thighs, long straight back, half forward fold, and then lowering down into forward fold again, bending your knees here. And then swooping your hands back up and overhead again. Bringing them to prayer. And let's move back down. Coming down into forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, this time bend your knees so your hands touch the mat and then step back one foot and the other into plank. If you can, stay here for a moment. If you need to lower your knees, please do so. Take whichever option you need today. Whichever one you're in, breathe here. Invite that heat, that energy flowing through your body, and then lower your knees gently down to the mat. Check that your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips, and we're going to move through some cat-cows now. So as you inhale, lower your belly down towards the mat, chest forward, look forward. Exhale, draw the belly up, hollow through the back, push away from the mat and bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, lower that belly back down, chest forward, look forward. Exhale, tuck your pelvis under and roll through the spine. Inhale up. And exhale, curling in, checking inwards here. Wonderful. Well, from here, walk your knees back slightly and you're going to shift forwards and bring your chin and your chest down to the mat with your arms and elbows tucked in beside your ribs. Push through to come up into a baby cobra as you inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, back up to baby cobra. Lift your hands, check you're using your back here. If not, come down a bit lower. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Press the tops of your feet into the mat and lower back down. Beautiful. Now you're going to lengthen your arms down along your body. So your palms are pressing down into the mat. Feet are straight out along the mat. And in a moment, you're going to press your hips and your pelvis into the mat and use your back muscles like you did in Cobra to lift up your upper body. So as you inhale, press those hips and pelvis into the mat and lifting up through that front body. And exhale, lower back down. We're going to do the same again now, but this time we're going to try and lift our legs as well. So if you're comfortable with that, join me. Otherwise, just continue with your upper body. That's absolutely fine. So as you inhale, lifting up your legs and your upper body, really pressing into your hips, your pelvis, chest open, looking forwards, squeezing your glutes, squeezing your back, and lower down. Wonderful. Now you can take either of those options we've just taken again, or you can join me in bow pose. So for bow pose, you're going to bring your feet up towards your body. You're going to take hold of the insides or the outsides of your feet, whichever one you can reach to. I want you to focus on keeping your knees energetically drawing in towards each other so they're not coming out too wide. But we're really going to do the same thing again. We're going to press into the hips and the pelvis. Squeeze your glutes and your back to draw up. So exhale here, inhale, lifting up, really kicking back your feet into your hands, drawing up, pressing into your pelvis, and then lowering back down. Beautiful stuff. From here, you're just going to keep your forehead on the mat, your legs out long, and you're just going to straighten your arms out from either side like you're making a T. Just going to move away from the wall a little bit here. Lovely. Keep your left hand out on the floor. Your right hand, you're going to come onto the tips of your fingers just next to your shoulder. You're going to lift your right leg up and you're going to come over across to the left side of your body. So feeling a really strong stretch in that left shoulder, really opening up. And breathe into it here. Calming the body. Beautiful. Now with ease, gently and with control, coming back onto your front. And let's take it to the other side. So your right arm is out long along the floor. You're going to come onto the tips of your left pinky fingers right next to your shoulder and chest here. Lift your left leg up towards you and roll over to the right side of your body. Breathing into it. Your head might be able to reach the mat or it might be up slightly here. If you're not able to reach the mat, just make sure it's an extension of your spine so you're not drooping it or lifting it up. And breathe. For me, this stretch always feels like such a big release. We spend so long leaning forwards on phones, on computers, looking after babies. So it's so nice to move, to stretch the other way. Okay, again with control, coming back forward to where you were. You're going to place your hands next to your chest and just push back up into all fours. And from there, we're going to come up into downward facing dog. So hands a little bit further forwards than your shoulders. Spread comfortably wide apart so you've got a nice wide space. And then pressing up into downward facing dog. Have your knees bent here. You might like to walk your legs out for this first one. Getting some movement before we come to stillness. Having your knees bent, as I said, it still gives you that beautiful stretch through your back body. You still get the benefits of the pose. So focus, instead of focusing on your knees or on your heels, focus on pressing away from the mat with all four corners of your hands. Checking that your ears are your ears are next to your arms. And that your hips are drawing up towards the ceiling. A beautiful long line from fingertips to the top of your hips. Beautiful. From here, bend your knees and look forward between your hands and then step your left leg in between your hands. If it doesn't reach, that's fine, just walk it forwards. We're then going to come up into a high lunge. Now, if this is a bit tricky, use the wall to help you balance, or you're welcome to come down onto that back knee. Even if you are up in a high lunge here, just check that that back knee is bent slightly, just so you can bring your upper body into alignment. Inhale here. And as you exhale, lower your right hand to the mat and let's twist open. So left hand comes up towards the ceiling, looking up towards your hand if that's comfortable for you. And then exhale, swap your hand so your left hand comes down and you twist open to the right. Inhale here, and then exhale, hands either side of your foot, and let's step back into downward facing dog again. Breathing deeply and with control. Beautiful. Bend your knees, look forwards, and this time step your right foot behind your hands. Sweeping your hands up into a high lunge. Again, take your options. You can still do this with your back knee on the ground. Either way, have that back knee bent slightly. As you exhale, lower your left hand down to the mat, right hand up towards the ceiling, opening up to the right. Exhale, switch those hands over, twist to the other side. And you might notice a difference on this side of your body. Completely normal. Very rarely are we symmetrical in anything. There we go, stepping back into downward facing dog. From here, come forwards and bend your knees, lower them down carefully onto the mat. And we're just going to switch over so we come down onto our backs for bridge pose. Okay, so laying down gradually, walking your feet so they're in line with your sit bones and as close to your sit bones as you can get them. We're going to focus on lifting, but we want to do it so we're rolling up from our pelvis all the way up to our shoulders. And this is going to help us prepare for shoulder stand. So from here, inhale. And as you exhale, just practice tilting your hips, your pelvis up towards the ceiling slightly, and then rolling back down. Inhale again. Exhale, just tilt your pelvis. So you're just coming off the mat slightly, and then exhale, rolling back down. Beautiful stuff. Okay, let's take that a bit further now. So inhale here. As you exhale, again, roll that pelvis up. This time continue. So rolling up through your upper back. Check here that your ribs aren't flaring out, so they're not sticking out. You want them drawing in. That might mean you have to lower your hips down, but focus on drawing those in. You might even like to have your hands there to help you do that. And then exhale, lowering back down. And let's do that one more time. Inhale. As you exhale, drawing your pelvis up and following through. Checking your ribs aren't flaring out, pressing into the feet, bringing your chest up towards your chin and looking straight up to the ceiling. You might like to walk your shoulders underneath your body and press your hands into the floor to help you lift your chest up even higher. And then releasing that and starting from the top of your spine, rolling back down. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so now we're going to come into shoulder stand. So if you did want to place a cushion or a blanket underneath you for this, it certainly can help. It can help kind of start that pelvis tilt. The only thing is it can mean you need to use a little bit more of your abs. So if you'd like to give it a try, put it there and see how it feels for you. Work out what's best for you today. We're all going to begin with legs up the wall. A beautiful, beautiful inversion. One of the most relaxing poses you can do. And if you ever want to do something to relax at night, this is the one for you. So you're going to start by sitting. So your hip is really leaning against the wall. Your glute is right up against the wall to the side. And you're going to, it's a bit of an awkward move, but you're going to slide around so your body comes down and then your legs are up the wall. If you find that you're quite a distance away from the wall, you might just need to try that a couple of times. So take a moment here. Now this might be great for you. You might be finding a really good inversion here. It's very gentle on the body. And you still get all the benefits.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, Siri's talking to me. You still get all the benefits of an inversion. So it's absolutely fine to stay here. If you are wanting to work towards shoulder stand, you can place the soles of your feet up against the wall. Then, just like we did in our bridge pose, you're going to just draw the pelvis up slowly and bring your hands so the palms of your hands are pointing towards your sit bones. They're flat against your back and your elbows are drawing in towards each other. So you want your elbows as close as they can get. See how you feel here. It can be a lot on the neck. If you are feeling okay, you might like to work to straighten one leg and then the other. And just continue like that. Now, if you're quite comfortable here and you want to have a go with shoulder stand, then you can just press off the wall. Whether you're doing legs up the wall 1 foot at a time, that's absolutely fine. You're still getting the beautiful benefits. Now, if you are doing full shoulder stand, you can have your toes pointed or flexed as suits you. And really drawing up from your feet, lifting the energy up so you're not crashing in to your shoulder blades and your neck. And please take a break at any time you need to realign. Now from here we're going to move into plow. Only do this if you're very comfortable here in shoulder stand, because this is going to increase the angle even more. So it is a more challenging posture. Now you need to either have your feet on the ground or your hands supporting your back at all times. So as we move into this, keep your hands on your back until your feet are on the ground. And as soon as you're going to lift your feet up again, your hands need to be on your back first. So for plow, we're actually going to bring our feet towards our body, drawing back, and then resting them on the ground. Once they're on the ground, then you can lengthen your arms up along the ground. And breathe here. Not an easy pose to talk in. My voice sounds different than normal. Wherever you are now, notice how this feels. It's not something we do very often. We're not upside down with our legs above our head very often. So beneficial for our body. Activates the vagus nerve, which activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, digest, restore system. It calms everything down, reduces stress, reduces anxiety, and helps our body work at its best. Now, if you're in plow, place your hands on your back before you lift your feet up off the ground, coming back into shoulder stand, and then feet back on the wall, and let's all come down to legs up the wall again. Hands out by your sides. Taking a moment here. Noticing how relaxed you feel. It's one thing for me to tell you about the processes that occur, but really feel that in your body. Feel that calmness, that ease, that peace. Beautiful. Now bringing your feet back down to the side and coming out the same way we came in. And then we're just going to come down to the mat into fish pose. So for a fish pose, you're going to have your legs straight out with your toes pointing back to you, so your toes flexed. You're going to use your elbows here as a base as you lie back. So place your elbows at 90 degrees on the mat. You're going to lift your chest up here, and then you're going to look back behind you. Now, if your head doesn't reach the mat, you're just going to slowly, with control, walk your arms down until your head does reach the mat. Really focus here though on lifting up through your chest. So there's not much weight on your head here. You're pressing into the mat, you're lifting, lifting, lifting through your chest. And then pressing into your shoulders to come back up again with control. Laying back down on your back. Beautiful. Draw your knees up to your body. Breathe here. You might like to roll from side to side. Lengthening your left leg out along the mat, and then drawing your right knee down towards the left side. Making sure your right shoulder remains on the ground, looking out towards your right hand. Your left knee does not need to touch, your right knee does not need to touch the ground. You just want to get a lovely twist through the spine. It's worked hard today. Beautiful. Now draw that knee back up using your hand, and let's swap. Right knee lays out long, left knee draws up, keeping your left hand, I'm all tangled up in my microphone, keeping your left hand, your left shoulder down on the mat. Draw the left knee across your body towards your right. And breathe here. And using your right hand, draw that knee back up. You're now going to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees just fall out from side to side. Place one hand on your heart and the other hand on your belly. And take some deep breaths here. Again, notice how you're feeling. Have gratitude to yourself for doing this today, for being curious, for looking at the world from a new perspective. And then slowly draw your knees back up together, lengthen your legs out and come into Shavasana. Arms and legs out long, relax, palms facing the ceiling, eyes closed. I'm going to leave you here to continue in Shavasana for as long as you have available. The longer the better. When you do come up, begin by wriggling your fingers and toes, gentle, easy movement. Roll over to your side and gradually come back out of the practice. Thank you so much for flowing with me today, and I cannot wait to see you again on the mat.